and we are continuing to practice our social distancing. We would like to thank you for joining us for episode 8 of our Facebook Live. Today we'll be talking about Article 19. You have the right to be protected from abuse. I just want to give thanks right now to the powers that be for getting us set up on only 2 takes today. Unfortunately, we couldn't go live because we waded through some more technical difficulties. But here we are again recording, and John will stream it as soon as we're finished. So again, we're sorry, John, that you couldn't have one peaceful Friday, so we're gonna put some prayers out there for next week. I really think it might be because we forgot jelly beans. We had agreed to bring jelly beans to stave off the little people and their little tricks on us, but we are going to do that next week. So I'm going to pass it off to Cheryl to just start with our opening prayer and our land acknowledgement, and then I'll take it back and do a few updates.
Bonjour. My name is Cheryl Alexander. I'm the Knowledge Keeper here at Manitoba Advocate for Children and Youth. I'll start with the morning prayer. Miigwech mashumas, gibi wase, azian nom gom, miigwech nakit nom gom gizigak, wena jimano, gana wabama, ningiwi, gi bimatis. Minawa wewani ji gaganon nag. Miigwech gi shkame ki kwe, gi miziag nebi, gi miziag weweneg. Minawa, gi miziag nisawin, esama ningawa gibama, wabanong zabanong gi wibe nong gi wetanong. Minawa ji zungade ian. Miigwech mashumas. Thank you, Grandfather, for shining on us today. I say thank you for this beautiful day, that I will look upon everyone with kindness, that I will talk to everyone in a good way. Thank you to Mother Earth for giving us the water, for giving us life, for giving us food, for giving us the animals and the air that we breathe. I offer my tobacco in the 4 directions: east, south, west, and north. Help me to be able to stand strong and to have a good heart. Thank you, Grandfather. The Manitoba Advocate wishes to acknowledge that we are located on the original lands of the Anishinaabe, Cree, Oji-Cree, Dakota, and Dene peoples, and the beautiful homelands of the MACY Nation.
And before we get started, I actually just wanted to do a quick shout out. We have a birthday today, one of our own youth ambassadors, very, very special young man named Michael, aka Batman. So I would like to say happy birthday to you, Michael, aka Batman. And also just put out there that Michael has been spending his time doing a lot of streaming, trying to keep busy. So John will put up the link for his website, but please check out a young Indigenous strong man who's streaming and just trying to continue living life.
And I'm John, and yes, I will share that link with you. We try and give back to our Youth Ambassador team. Our Youth Ambassador Advisory Squad does lots of great work for this office. We meet weekly with them. They inform a lot of the reports and just various things that our office does, and it's very important that our office is informed by youth, and that's from Daphne all the way down. We want our office and the work we do to really matter to youth. So we try to give back where we can, and I think if you have a time, subscribe to his video, check it out. It's definitely worth a watch. We have a number of youth from across Manitoba that is a part of our Youth Ambassador team, and it's again, we just try to give back where we can, because that's all we can do is give them a platform for their voice, and then try and support them when we can, where we can. So you know what, before I forget too, if you want, leave a comment, leave your name, leave something in this video, because we do have MACY swag that we can give away weekly, and we want to give away weekly. So we have these wonderful pens here, we have these sunglasses, we have the sweaters, we have the wavy guy to give away, wavy baby as we call him. And yeah, I think it's important. We want to give away and give back to the way where we can, so let us, basically. And I will pass it back to Cheryl.
Okay, so this week for Article 19, you have the right to be protected from abuse. I was going through some of my training modules from different programs that I've attended over the years. I have selected, I thought would be kind of appropriate this morning to share, my Bill of Rights. And it goes like this. I have the right not to be abused. I have the right to be angry. I have the right to change my situation. I have the right to freedom from fear. I have the right to request and expect help. I have the right to share my feelings. I have the right to be a good role model for my children. I have the right to be treated like an adult. I have the right to leave an abusive situation. I have the right to privacy. I have the right to develop my talents and abilities. And I have the right to legal protection. I also have the right not to be perfect. And that was adopted from Getting Free by Ginny McCarthy. So there was that piece. Today's teaching is about the Sabe, or some people know him as Bigfoot. In the Aboriginal community, he is real, and he's not just a spiritual being. He could either be a giant or he could be a shapeshifter. But he teaches us two things, and times get tough, and I think it's appropriate now to share that teaching. And the first teaching that he shows us is that you have to stand strong. You have to stand strong in your truth of what's going on, and that applies today in terms of Article 19. So it also tells us that as a shapeshifter, he teaches us not to be unkind to ourselves and to stand in our own truth as to who we really are. So whatever that means to individuals, whether it be in dealing with abuse or talking about things that they need to address in their own personal current situations. Sabe teaches us that it's okay to be yourself. You have to be yourself. You have to be kind to yourself, and that's where that honesty teaching comes in. Sabe is often the one that is seen when the trouble is coming to a community, that people need to stand together and be strong in a challenging time. The highest honor that could be bestowed upon an individual was to be called honest, and to know that as someone who could be trusted. The ancestors would tell us never to try to be someone that you are not. Live true to your spirit. Honesty is much more than not lying. It's about being honest with yourself about who you are, where you are, and what you need to do. It is remembering that it is about remembering your potential and living in a way that moves you towards accomplishing that potential, not moving away from it. Honesty begins and ends with you. The amount of honesty that you have in your life will affect your life and will impact all the people around you. So it's very important to start each day and stay in that day. Start in small increments to be able to, if things aren't going well, restart your day. Just stop and restart it, whether it be with emotion, whether it be in, everybody has a bad day, and that's an honesty teaching that you can restart your day at any time. So to be honest is to live in the spirit of how you were created and not to try to be someone you are not. The more honest that you are, the bigger person you will become in yourself, in feeling confident that you can relay that message of simple teachings, being able to show how, especially role modeling for children, you know, and right and wrong, because you are your children's first teacher, and to be able to role model honesty means to be able to teach them right from wrong in a simple way, and then as they get older, the teaching gets a little more complex. So remembering who and what you are and live in a place that is best you can. I can't speak today. Speak your truth in an honest way. Keep it simple, but keep it positive, so that your behavior will follow. Your emotions will follow. Keep your promise and honor your commitment to the Creator, to yourself, and to yourself. And to others. Sorry, to yourself and to yourself. I said that twice. Sorry, typo. So with that means that in this time, we really need to be able to be truthful with whatever's going on. If you need to ask for help, ask for help. Being honest is a very hard but courageous thing to do. It doesn't take bravery. It just needs to be, you need to know that things will get better if you ask for that help. So that's the teaching of the Sabe. I was sharing a little bit at the beginning of about things that have happened to me over the years and turning around about offerings. I just said an FYI, and I'll share this little bit, and people can ask me after about it. But this one time, I was told, cold winter night, I had a big crack on the side of the house, scared the heck out of me. I didn't know what to do, and so someone told me I had to make an offering. So I did, and I was just sharing with my coworkers this morning that I believe Sabe to be a herbivore, that he only eats like things that are not of meat, of animal, that it's all plant-based, and the Creator made him that way so that he could be able to be a shapeshifter and help people to understand that he's everywhere. He's where he needs to be. He's always taking care of us. He's like our guardian, to be able to know when trouble is about to happen and to warn us about that. And so all he asks for is a little bit of nuts and raisins and rice and tobacco and water. He's a very simple being, and that was what was shared to me, and so I did that. And I always appreciate that teaching about keeping it simple, because that's how honesty works as well. Like, you don't have to remember when you're honest. So thanks.
So I'm thinking, if we see Bigfoot, don't run until you have left some snack.
So we will get right into the, I guess, I won't say meat and potatoes, the veggies will be more fitting. UNCRC, so United Nations Convention on the Rights of the Child. Why is that important? And we kind of talked about this. Every week we talk about how important this is. We talk about the difference between a right and a want. So what I was saying before we had the technical difficulties, of course, was we're talking about a want being a puppy or a computer or an
new
Xbox,
car,
a car, anything like that. But the difference is, and what makes this document so important, the UNCRC, these are not wants, these are rights, and these are legal rights that a youth is entitled to. And we as adults and government and anybody involved in a youth's life have that on us to make sure that these rights are met. These are not optional. These are set, and they're not wants. So that's what makes them very special, very important. And today we're talking about one that may be a little sensitive. So, but it's equally important. And the only way you combat things is by talking about it and providing that voice for youth. So I guess I will leave it to Kathy now.
And John can speak to it again when I'm done my little blurb, but he had first take some really great conversations about stigmas that are attached to any types of abuse. But today we're doing Article 19, you have the right to be protected from abuse. It's really in line with many of the other rights that are within the poster, the Rights of the Child, which is on our website. Right number 3, adults should make good decisions for your protection and safety. That is directly connected to your right to be free from abuse. Right number 21 is the right to care and protection if you have been adopted or you have lived in the child welfare system. So no matter who you are, what your situation is, you have the right to be free from any type of abuse, be that physical, mental, sexual, any type of abuse. Article number 34 and 35 really speak to the sexual abuse. Number 34 states that the government should protect children from sexual abuse. Number 35 states that the government must protect children from human trafficking. So all of those different types of abuse that impact our young people today, we need to have those discussions. We need to start talking about it. As John said, even in its sensitivity, it happens and it occurs. The more we are able to talk about it and open up about it, the more likely we are to be able to support different initiatives to make sure that we are continuing to protect our children and our families. So one of the things that we're going to start out with today is a video that was created by one of our youth ambassadors, Sophia. So I'm going to just say thank you, Sophia, as well as thank you to the other youth ambassadors. We've been trying to show a video every week, which we will continue to do, and we're trying to create some more videos. We feel that in discussion with our youth ambassadors, with other young people across Manitoba, the messaging really is far more impactful if it's coming from another young person. So please take a moment to look at this video, and we hope you enjoy it as much as we do.
Article 34 of the UNCRC states the government should protect children from sexual abuse. Child sexual exploitation is child abuse. Children and youth cannot choose to be sexually exploited, nor do they choose to be sexually abused. Society often denies and turns a blind eye towards the crimes that are being committed towards our young people who are being harmed through exploitation. Many think it's a young person's choice, but is it really a choice if it's often the only way they know how to survive? Article 35 of the UNCRC states the government must protect children from human trafficking. Human trafficking goes hand in hand with sexual exploitation. Thousands of children and youth in Canada are being sexually exploited through human trafficking every year. If communities are not meeting the needs of our children, they're forced to find ways to meet their own needs. Studies have shown that most incidents of human trafficking could have been avoided had the community provided the right resources to help these kids thrive. Until our community leaders stop denying these kids the help they have a right to, we cannot stop them from falling through the cracks of our flawed system and into the hands of human traffickers.
So you can see by the last few videos that a lot of thought goes into those, and with that, I want to kind of go into part of what we had a discussion about yesterday. So I say this every week, but we have the sheer pleasure of meeting with our young people every week just to have these types of discussions. And the question we posed yesterday really was around whether or not our youth felt like there was an increase in domestic violence. While we weren't able to come up with a yes or a no, we looked at some statistics, but one of the themes that came out of it was domestic violence or child abuse is generally hidden. So it's very hard to identify outside of kind of the situation we're living in now. So we talked about if there is an increase in domestic violence, why would this be? And again, a lot of that came down to it is now less likely for others to be able to identify or intervene to offer to support young people that are being abused, because we're not accessing a lot of people with the social isolation. We are in our own spaces. We talked about what reasons there could be increases in domestic violence or abuse. And the youth talked about just the increase in anxiety across the board for everybody, young people and adults alike. The fear that comes with the unknown, the uncertainty about when this is going to end, and essentially tensions are so much higher. So if there is this increase in domestic violence, which we're not saying we didn't agree or disagree that there was, but why would that increase be if it were in fact there? And it would be likely due to the solitude. But again, the young people really wanted us to point out and highlight the egregious nature of domestic violence and child abuse is usually hidden. So it shouldn't be just important right now. It has to be important every day, all of the time. Some of the message, or one of the key messages from our young people to other young people across the province is they wanted to really share words of encouragement, to encourage you to reach out to a trusted adult or a friend while they understand and appreciate that they are not in the same situations. Maybe they can appreciate that it would be scary, and this uncertainty would create other challenges. So they're really encouraging anyone who is suffering from any kind of abuse, who is at risk of abuse, or the other key thing was, if you're identifying somebody else that's at risk of abuse, speak to a trusted adult or a trusted friend, but don't stay quiet. And that really ties into
Our Sabe teaching.
the Sabe teaching and John's comments about stigmas being attached that he might want to talk a little bit about now.
Yeah, I think the best thing to do is to talk about it, right? Like we talk about mental health, which is equally important, but this is correlated. These are connected, and I think the best way to do it and to tackle it is to give youth that opportunity for a voice. So how do we do that? We talk about it as adults, and we talk about it with our youth, and about the honesty like Cheryl is speaking to. I mean, if we don't give youth the opportunity to come and talk to us honestly about what's going on in their lives, then we're not doing our job, right? We're not being a good role model and adult, and we're not giving them that venue to tell us when things like this are occurring, so that we can help prevent and encourage and teach and protect a lot of our youth.
From a cultural perspective, when you are able to share whatever event has happened or incident that has happened, and you are able to connect from your mind to your heart, that is a true signing at the beginning of your healing. You are able to share because you trust, and that's what the Sabe has been able to. Your honesty is the beginning of your healing, and it's to help you understand that as you go forward, you'll be able to follow into the healing diagram of being able to let that go and to help yourself in a way that only you can understand how that will move you forward. Your spirit, when it talks about that truth and honesty to be able to be who you really are, that's what that talks about. That beginning of the healing process starts with being able to share with another person that you trust. So,
And I think that's a good little segue into this nice picture here we have of one of our MACY staff working at home. Our office is still functioning. We are still here to help youth. So if you are a youth that's going through something like this, reach out to our office. This is one of our advocates who's working at home, and she's advocating with her little puppy at the moment in the picture, but we are here, and we're here to support, and we will help you and guide you along that way. Our advocates are here to do just that and help give you that voice. And again, if you don't know what next steps to take, or you just want to talk to somebody about that, then call our office, because that's, again, what we're here for. We're here to help youth find that voice and direct you where you need to go to get that assistance and that help. So I will just quickly talk about the listenings tour that was put on hold due to the pandemic. We do have an online survey that is for youth 15 and up. We're looking for feedback. It's going to allow you to use your voice. This is what we want. How would you change things that are going on with youth right now and do things better? We want to hear what youth have to say about that, so we can then put it into a report and really take it to heart, and then figure out a way we can start implementing some of these things that our youth are telling us. So we want to hear from youth about this. And I will give our contact phone number, because I did just mention it, 1-800-263-7146. If you want to connect with one of our advocates, that is the best way to do it. And we encourage you to call us no matter what kind of troubles you have going on. Outside of what we're even talking about this week, feel free to call our office.
And just keeping in mind, we'll be posting some links for different resources that can support victims or persons at risk of domestic violence or abuse. So make sure you're looking at our website for those links. If you ever have a question, put it in the comments. Again, your privacy is very, very important to us. So I will just add that, again, with the topic of abuse, it is very difficult often to have those conversations. It takes courage. It takes a lot of courage. But please always reach out and know that your privacy is very important, and that you have the right to be protected from abuse, and that we as adults around you have a responsibility to make sure that you know these rights and that we're helping you to protect and respect them. So please, if you are needing any support or assistance with any type of abuse, please feel free to call our office, knowing that it's full privacy, your privacy is respected, and or call any abuse hotline, reach out to an adult. It is never okay. I just wanted to quickly touch on something in our meeting yesterday. So we had this really long discussion on domestic violence and abuse, which again is a very hard topic to talk about. So I just want to kind of insert some of the fun stuff that we talked about. One of the things we pitched to our young people yesterday was, what does a day in the life look like? Interestingly enough, many were very similar. So just on a fun note, I'm just going to do some shout outs. So SS wakes up at 8, tries to run or work out, has something to eat, sets up her computer to get ready to work for her day, but proceeds to spend most of the time on her phone. So lacking motivation to do some work. Another one of our young people, MB, wakes up, actually does some streaming. So happy birthday, Batman, check him out online. Another one of our youth, KG, missing a haircut, but wakes up generally around 3 p.m. and plays some music. So go Evan Peters. Another one of our young people wakes up, coffee, couch, studies sometimes, FaceTimes for the rest of the day. So I'm just putting those out there because we want to encourage you to try and remain on schedule. But when we pitched it to 5, 6 young people, they're really having a hard time with motivation. So I want to just encourage you to connect and support one another. When we left the meeting, they stayed on the meeting for an additional couple hours, probably to talk about us. But yeah, so being connected, right? Coming up with creative ways to get out there. And I've said it once, I'm going to say it again. Be the person to reach out to others. Start those conversations and start creating those opportunities, because common theme I've heard from young people is that, oh, well, someone else will do it. No, you be the one to do it. Get out there and do this and support one another. So with that, I'm going to pass it back to John.
I'm just going to say thank you. I really appreciate you joining us every week, and I think we'll let Cheryl close it off for us with
I'm gonna talk a little bit about what we talked about yesterday online with the kids, about a little bit about resilience and kind of where everybody's at after being about a couple months in. The abruptness in what was happening really shook the foundations of everyone. And I mean everyone, having to self-quarantine, stay home, work from home, finding out about the money, things like that. So it was a real struggle. People struggled and are still struggling to understand about normality has been uprooted and basically tossed out the window. So now, a couple weeks in, what does that look like? So we talked about resiliency and being able to inch forward, to move back into a routine. So we did ask the kids about, and that's where the question came from, was what does a day in the life look like? And kids are being honest, like myself, I've had trouble. My attitude, I had to adjust my attitude, my schedule. Where do you go when you have to work from home? Like, you go outside to the backyard, or like, being honest, it has been a struggle. So I just reminded them that the fears of the unknown, sleeplessness or interruptions, anxiety and depression were some stuff that had been going on. But resiliency is really the teaching about getting back up and to move on, to have that faith and belief that, at some point grace is going to save us, in terms of, it might never get back to a normal. It might be the belief and motivation that what we do in times of trouble, how do we help ourselves? Like, how do we be able to take small steps in being able to forge a new routine? Forge a new normal for each and every one of us. For me, my saving grace has been going to the bush once a week to be able to have that calm and collective. For me, that's my healing space. Nature has always been a great comfort and a source of great gratitude for myself. Crafting, I look at little things because of who I am. The Sabe talks about, being your real true self. And I've had to really struggle in my path to healing for myself. And creativity is one of my best goals, whether it be sitting and listening to someone, whether it be, for each one of us, it's different. So for me, it's sewing, beading. Like, people know, if anyone knows a lot about me, it's like, that's my life. Kids and laughing and ribbon skirts, basically. I like to be around, but I find myself praying all the time. Prayer is always I'm praying in the car. People think I'm singing. I don't even look around when I'm driving anymore. I'm praying all the time. But my routine is pretty solid now. I managed to have some time for prayer in the morning. That routine, you have to build that up for yourself. So that resiliency really is about being able to inch forward in a way that's comfortable for you. And that's basically what the Sabe taught us today, was that we need to really understand what our true identity is, and whatever's going on for us, communication is basically the way to feel that trust and be able to share that, to be able to get that healing to be going. The last thing I have to do today is to share. I love this poem, so I'm going to share it with everybody. And it goes like this. Our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. It is our light, not our darkness, that frightens us most. We ask ourselves, who am I to be brilliant, gorgeous, talented, and fabulous? Actually, who are you not to be? You are a child of God. Your playing small does not serve the world. It is nothing enlightened. There is nothing enlightened about shrinking so that other people won't feel insecure around you. We are all meant to shine, as children do. We were born to make manifest of the glory of God that is within us. It is not just some of us, it's in everyone. And as we let our own light shine, we unconsciously give other people permission to do the same. As we are liberated from our own fear, our presence automatically liberates others. And that's by Marianne Wilson. That, I thought, was very fitting today, to be honest about a lot of things. And that's always been a quote that I've carried with me throughout the years. So with that, I say thank you for spending time with us today. And miigwech Gize Manitou for allowing us to share some time with you. See you next week.
Thank you.